This sequence of exercises comes from the Pilates tradition, and it's a side-lying series that's meant to focus on stabilizing your outer hips and integrating it with the core. So we're going to be working with several different cues, three of them, to make sure we keep that integration between the hip and the core. So you want to keep your hips stacked, almost like two scoops of ice cream. You don't want the top one to melt off forward or melt off backwards. So you want to keep them vertically aligned. The second cue is don't crush the ladybug, which means you want to keep the side waist of equal length. It's not literal, don't worry about the ladybug, but you want your upper waist and your lower waist to be equal length so you're not crushing the upper hip into the rib cage. So that again keeps that integration between core and hips. And finally, as you're working to emphasize that strength of reaching out from the center, pretend there's a penny between your heel and whatever wall is below it, or even your toes, and you're pressing that penny so it doesn't slip down the wall. So now you may find you are having a hard time staying stable, so your top leg, test it out, and then if you need a little extra support, bend the bottom leg or use your hand as a kickstand. Figure out how much challenge you can give yourself without becoming unstable. So for our first exercise, you're going to feel that leg reaching away powerfully towards the opposite wall. You're checking in with your ladybug, and your top leg is going to have a spring attached to the outer ankle. So it's easy on the way up and a bit of resistance on the way down. So we're going to do this 5 times, keeping everything stable, and you're breathing as you do it. Taking your time to notice your form and giving yourself the support you need as you notice any wobbling. The strength should be coming from the center and reaching right out through that heel. Now your upper leg, the working leg, is going to try and stay parallel to the earth as best you can. You may feel a little burn in the outer hip. That's good. That means you're working. Now we're going to do the next sequence, which you can do with your toes pointed or with your foot flexed, and you're going to draw around the circumference of an orange. So keep it fairly small, and you're doing 5 circles in one direction, keeping those hips as steady as you can, and then 5 in the other direction as you breathe, and you're still reaching from that center outward through the toes or heel, keeping those hips stacked and that ladybug uncrushed. Now, if you need to take a break and you're really feeling a burn in the hip, you can allow that upper leg to lower for a moment for a breath. But again, that warmth and that sort of fatigued feeling just means you're building strength. So give yourself as much challenge as you can. And now we're going to be building a larger circle. They call this the grand rond jambe. So it's going around a big barrel. And again, make sure your circles are staying round and you're going at the pace that allows you to find stability. So we're doing 5 and we're keeping that slow, steady breathing. Sometimes I let my hips wibble a little bit, so I realize I need a little more support and need to make that circle slightly smaller to be successful. That leg is going to stay now in line with the floor, parallel with the floor, and the lower leg is going to come up to meet it. Now the tendency here is to let gravity just flop you down, so see how much you can control that release back down to the ground. Okay? Reaching powerfully away, the side waist stays equal length top and bottom. Now you're going to zip up from the inner ankle, powerfully up through the inner leg, right to the center, to your navel. And from that strong point, again, you're going to be lifting now both legs together, slow and steady, trying to control the descent and keep the side waist long equally on both sides. You're breathing and enjoying the warmth of the strength from your center. And now you've completed, you've built strength, so now we balance with some flexibility. You come onto your back and allow the working leg to fold over in a figure 4. This may feel like enough to relax and release that effort, but you may be looking for a little more stretch, so please reach through to the back of your thigh and then just gently let those legs fold in towards you. We're not forcing anything, we're enjoying that release after the effort. Nice. Take a couple breaths and then get ready to do the same on the other side.